a new beginning. There was no need to fear the audit since I oversaw the preparation of the books myself. It was all just a formality. I had founded Preferred Capital 4 years earlier as a finance company that provided loans and leases to other companies that used them to acquire equipment like computers, copiers, furniture, and so on. Preferred would negotiate a contract with the customer, send an invoice to the equipment vendor, and then sell the contract to a bank or GE Capital once the equipment had been installed. For the first few months, I was the only employee: president, marketing manager, lead salesman, financial analyst, and receptionist. I had one desk and 2 phones. I had no intention of creating one of the fastest-growing companies in the United States. I only wanted to be my own boss, make my own decisions, and implement my own ideas. My primary concern was lifestyle, not income or equity or the double-digit growth of my startup. I didn't want to be part of the rat race, so I moved to Lake Tahoe and started Preferred Capital on the shores of what I considered the most beautiful place in the world. 100 years earlier, Mark Twain had explored the same shores and said it was the fairest view that the earth afforded. Like Twain, I saw the lake on my first cross-country trip from east to west. I couldn't believe such a place existed, and the moment I first saw it, I wanted to make it my home. Composed of deep greens and blues, it's the perfect combination of forests, mountains, and crystal-clear water that reflects the cobalt skies above it. The bluer the sky is, the bluer the lake is, and in the High Sierra, blue is very blue. For the next 20 years, I told family and friends, someday I'm going to live in Tahoe. Someday. So, when I established Preferred, a company with a business model that relied on direct mail and telemarketing, one that could function anywhere, I realized I could kill 2 birds with 1 stone. I could be my own boss and, at the same time, live within the blue world of the Tahoe Basin. 1 stone, 2 birds. One day became someday, and my dream became reality. However, the company grew faster and bigger than I'd ever imagined. Starting with only $50,000, Preferred Capital exploded to over 300 employees, half a dozen offices, and over $20 million in revenues. Every quarter, Preferred grew by 100%, financing the growth out of the profits from the previous quarter. I became an expert in expansion, hiring, training, marketing, and crafting the systems to control it. I was in the middle of a money-making storm, cash flowing in, around, and out of my company. I became a multi-millionaire. It was exciting, and I got lost in the hurricane of excitement. It wasn't about the Tahoe lifestyle anymore. It was about being bigger, brasher, and bolder than the next guy. I bought a 5,000-square-foot oceanfront home perched on a bluff in San Clemente, California, and another one in Crystal Bay, Nevada, perched above the shores of Lake Tahoe. I outfitted each home with Porsches, Range Rovers, and state-of-the-art electronics and gadgets. Sure, I was winning the rat race, but as Lily Tomlin pointed out, I was still a rat. Then, one day, as I sat and listened to one of my employees, a pretty young girl in a short skirt, complained to me about the lack of professionalism of another pretty young girl in an even shorter skirt, my mind began to wander, and I wondered what it was all about. I wondered what had happened to the dream. I had turned into a bureaucrat trying to negotiate skirt lengths to keep everyone happy. That's it, I thought. Time to get out. I was an entrepreneur, an idea guy, not a manager, and Preferred had grown to the point that it needed management, not a new idea. Let someone else worry about skirt lengths. It was time to sell it, quit the rat race, and get back to the original plan, to the calmer waters of living among the deep greens and blues. I had had enough. It was the late 90s, and the internet bubble was causing a frenzy of mergers and